For the second most powerful supercharged engine, I got this here, Inline 4. This build is made in Automation's Al-Rilma update in the open alpha phase. This may become outdated in the future as the game continues to be updated. So for this engine build, first things first, on the top left portion of your screen, make sure that the engine family year is set to 2020. And for this Inline 4, you'll be choosing the aluminum silicon heavy block material because this could be upboard as much as possible, which you'll see later. The engine family capacity's bore will be maxed out to 180mm with the stroke set to 87.5mm, is a little bit up, to get it to 8,906 cubic centimeters or 8.9 liters for the family capacity of the engine, with a dual overhead cam 5 valves per cylinder with an aluminum billet race head material, with the quality maxed out to a plus 15 for everything, whether it's for the engine block, the bottom end, top end, fuel system, everything. And on the bottom right here with the Sandbox Tech Pool, you click on this to bring up the Sandbox Tech Pool, and right here at the engine tech, you'll be maximizing everything to a plus 15. Like the bottom end, top end, turbo, fuel, and all that good stuff. After you max out everything to a plus 15, click on Apply Changes, and let's get into the bottom end of this engine. So with the bottom end, under the variant capacity section here, you'll be increasing this by 4 more millimeters to 184 millimeters to get the true engine size of 9,307 cubic centimeters, or about 9.3 liters. And the rest of the engine with the crank count rods, pistons, and balancing mass will be choosing a regular billet steel for the crankshaft, forged heavy for both the con rods and the pistons with the use of a balancing shaft. That'll be maxed out to 100, which that will be about 77.5 pounds of the counterweight after applying the quality. For the compression, unlike the Inline 3 engine days for that Inline 3 video in terms of everything has been patched, but I'll show you the new build later on in the video. So 12.3 to 1 ratio will be set for this engine, and the cam profile, rather than having it at like a 4 or something like that, it will now be set to a 43, with the springs and lifters also set to a 43, with the RPM limit set to 8,200 RPM, with the use of VTEC for all cams. So, for the Supercharger, first of all, with the intercooler, maxes out to 12,100 horsepower. And this will be a screw-based supercharger, and there's hardly not much of a difference with the type of control measures on here, so I'll just keep it as is at a none. And the supercharger capacity in cubic centimeters, just, one quick up to 4,120 cubic centimeters. The gear ratio for the supercharger is set to 2.75. Under the third section here for the supercharger tune, it'll be set at a 36. And again, with the boost limit, if you were to use an advanced setting, I don't know if this will make a difference with the boost or anything. So, like I said right now, I'll choose it at a none and see what will happen. In the fuel system, it'll be a direct injection with a single throttle setup because a throttle per cylinder cannot be used for supercharged engines. For the fuel mapping, it'll be set more towards a lean setting at a 26. The lambda equals 1. This will go away once I put some nitromethane in this bad boy, so ignore that. And for the fuel timing, ignition timing at 100. Like I said, for the fuel type, nitromethane with, I think, 90% nitromethane installed and used for this engine, with a racing intake manifold with the size set down to a 34. And finally, for the exhaust, it'll be a tubular racing header with the header size set to a 35. And the exhaust size set to 127mm, which equals to exactly 5 inches. And of course, no cats, and no mufflers, and quality. And the final horsepower and torque rating for this engine is set to 4,230.4 horsepower at 8,200 RPM, and the torque of 2,803.5 pounds-feet of torque at 6,400 RPM. So, with this particular engine here, I'm pretty much limited by torque with the pistons in specific. The RPM, I mean, it's more controllable, a factor here with the change of the RPM and all that good stuff, but not much of a problem with the actual RPM, but mainly, it's a torque thing that's a problem. And for the heck of it, if we're to choose an advanced control setting, torque issues. Not a damn thing whatsoever. Okay, then. See, this is why I told you that this game is still in the works with the open alpha opt-in beta version of the Al-Rilma update of automation. And what is going on here? Before I give you a pull test of this 4-cylinder engine, I'll show you the Inline 3 with the new and updated build with this current update, which I believe it's under patch 4, I believe. So this here is the version 2 of the most powerful Supercharged Inline 3, by personal probably currently in-game world record best. So everything with the engine in particular at the bottom end has remained unchanged. And you can see an increase of compression, cam profile, and all that good stuff with the top end, the Supercharger. You can see those changes here. And the rest, relatively superficial changes or unchanged with this engine. Instead of making 3,200 horsepower, this now makes 3,150 and 2092 in the torque rating. Alright, so back to the Inline 4, and hope the graph actually cures itself here. So I'll be doing a pull test here in just a second by giving you a basic old pull test run on a dyno to see and hear how this engine performs. And I'll also put this exact engine into a car and see how that rolls around a single lap around probably the Narnilia or the automation test track. So first of all, do a pull test right now, and then I'll put this onto a car. I have a couple things about this car. First of all, what type of a driver you are behind the frickin' wheel of this car. And second of all, VTEC definitely kicked it way harder than Honda did. So, with this Supercharged Inline 4, it makes about 1,000 horsepower more than the i3. While that engine was built in an older version of Automation's Al-Rilma update, I was able to carry on with these new changes for the i4. Before these changes, I had this engine's power rating at around like 4,300 RPM. Sometimes these updates take you by surprise, even though it's currently in the open alpha stage as of this video. So that'll do it with Automation, the Car Company Tycoon Games version 4.3. And for those who are interested in this type of content, please be sure to like and subscribe so you won't miss out on any videos like this in the future. So this is TRIZE Rising Up, and signing out.